And action.
Scene. Aw, damn it, got it wrong again.
I'm just gonna have another drink.
Welcome to Bonehead.
Welcome to Bonehead.
No, you don't
Hold on.
trample
Hold
on my
hold
intro.
Hold on. Quiet for a moment. You hear that? Seriously, there's something wrong. There's something amiss.
Is it butt cheese?
Why are we in a new location? Probably something Joe did.
Welcome to Bonehead.
Oh, you still managed to trample on my intro.
It wasn't hard. People been walking over you all your whole
Now,
I know.
now, Chad, it's your turn to do the whistle solo. Gary Shandling style.
Just
Get
call
to-
me the Trail of Tears, full of blankets.
What?
Oh, I don't know.
What? Are you not keeping the banjo out for the whole show?
No,
I thought this was going to be our banjo show.
No, this one needs retuned. It needs some work done. I'd hate to.
Well, what about the banjo? Enough about you.
Oh, this is not the original case, by the way.
Really?
The original case was in worse shape.
Huh, that one looks pretty shitty to me.
This is the replacement case. This has been in my family for days.
Days, you say?
Yeah.
Did you get that at the nearest yard sale?
I don't know. Are we breaking for credits?
No, we've already done ran them.
Yeah. Sorry, I threw your pillow.
You threw Thunderlips' pillow.
That thing was dusty.
Is there another? Oh, you're sitting on my pillow.
No, I am.
I want my own Thunderlip pillow.
I wonder why I felt like my butt.
So, James. Shoot. I guess we should just roll on and just pretend that we're not in a totally different place.
No.
Due to revenuers, we've had to move locations. Whoever reported us, we'll see you.
Due to unforeseen circumstances,
Not circumcisions.
I'm over in that camera, according to our producer director Haley.
Ha.
Ha. Anyway, what is our topic today, gentlemen? Car pictures.
For those of you that don't know, those are also called vroom vroom shows.
So, pictures, back in the darker days, we mean movies, films, right?
Right.
Yeah. So why are we doing one about car pictures? Not actual pictures of cars.
Well, I mean, it's kind of an entirely American style.
Would you like
film.
a snack? This new place has a wonderful host that got us all kind of Pepperidge Farm cookies.
Pepperidge Farm remembers back when you used to have carriage pictures.
I never understood the appeal.
Of Pepperidge Farm?
I'm a toll house man.
Oh, toll house. So it's all about getting a toll so you can exploit the working class.
No, he's all about
shopper.
short people working in trees with really crappy zoning laws.
Heck yeah.
That's Keebler.
Let them eat termites for dinner.
What's the difference between a toll house and a Keebler?
About $2.
Ah! Dun, 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 dun.
We'll take sponsorship from either one.
Either one. So anyway, why are we doing car pictures?
And so it really is a wholly American, originally style picture. That
I
I mean,
agree.
that cars were very American, and it quickly became something that, especially you can look arguably the late '60s, early '70s, car pictures were huge.
Which is funny.
It was almost like with the interstate.
Yeah.
When you could travel from the east all the way to the west with relatively ease, the car movie appeared.
And it makes sense, specifically starting with the 50s, late 40s and the 50s, there was a whole culture of really baby boomer kids who were able to have their own cars.
Right.
And the cruising thing started. That happened nowhere else except in America.
Thank you, Eisenhower.
George Lucas talked about it, that basically, in a way, American graffiti is an anthropological study of a time and place that didn't happen anywhere else in the world.
I think that still holds true. I mean, people still get excited to get their driver's license because it has been tied to this
Not
representation.
everyone. It's
Well, no.
different. Don't you think it's changed a little
Yeah,
bit? We
but-
meet a lot of students who couldn't care less about driving. We have friends who are not huge on driving.
But I think that it's a representation to a lot of people of that freedom of being able to just get out of Dodge.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think George Michael said it best when he said,
You gotta have faith.
or freedom. either
Also,
one.
it's just in our inherent nature to, especially this country itself, to explore.
Yeah.
Go,
yeah.
just being able to hop in a car and go to someplace you've never known.
It was Nixon who said, "Go west, young man," and only I can make it to China.
Okay,
None of that's true.
none of it's true.
That was obviously Reagan.
Oh, anyway. So what makes a car movie? So I'm amazed. We have not talked about what we're going to talk about. We've talked about a couple of movies beforehand. Our hosts, it's it's not James.
Yeah.
It's not James. It's been nice enough to put some stuff out here. We have Back to the Future, a few other cars. I see the Italian Job, the Blues Brothers.
The original Italian
I
Job.
was going to say,
Because I think the Blues Brothers is a musical more in the car.
the other
movie,
thing
but
too is
okay.
with car movies, because when I looked up my list, I had the three that I'm going to talk about right off the bat. These
Yeah,
were the
I
three
did
that I
too.
was going to talk about. That being said, I'm like, well, every one of them's early to mid 80s. And I'm like, I need to put something in there that's more recent, because I'm all about trying to be relevant.
Well,
Since when?
But the problem is, the last 20 years, they're really, I mean, yeah, you have the Fast and the Furious
I was about to
series.
say about that. I guarantee none of us pick any Fast or Furious films.
I did not. I didn't like a single one of them, so I didn't want to talk about
So, if you're out there and you're a Fast and Furious fan and you think the three of us suck, you tweet us at Bonehead or Facebook us or Instagram, and we will argue with you and talk to you about it, and you can give us your opinion, and we may even talk to you about it on the show.
I mean, I
Well, I
understand.
think one of the reasons, though, it's hard to be a big fan of the Fast and the Furious, and I think maybe that's why it is so popular, is it is the car picture of the day.
Yeah.
There's no
Absolutely.
other one. But if you've seen so many other ones, you start to see, oh, it's derivative of, or it's alluding to.
And you know what the big problem I have with it?
What?
Yes, they are. I've seen most of them. I saw, is the last one with, what's her face? She was the villain?
Charlize Theron?
Charlize Theron. So, there's a lot of cool scenes, but you
As
know
a
the
movie.
difference between that and, let's say, a movie I'm going to talk about, Vanishing Point?
Vanishing Point's good.
Well, not that. And you know what was happening in Vanishing Point?
Mm-mm.
All that shit was for real.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
There was
When it
no
used to be-
CGI.
when it used to be that, I mean, people got hurt and
Killed.
One of the movies I'm going to bring up.
I was going to say, one of the movies I'm going to talk
I know
about.
which one he's going to talk about.
But you know, the question is, that you
Hope
brought
he got
up,
remade.
what
Okay,
is a car
it's not-
picture?
Yeah, what is a car picture? Is Blues Brothers?
Is Tucker the man in his dream? Is that a car picture?
Right, because if you go
It's
on...
listed as a car movie according to several lists.
But I mean,
is it
Absolutely.
real?
And the
I
one
don't
list
jump-
that I was looking at
Is
was...
Corvette Summer with Mark Hamill a car picture?
Right. So the one list
Because to me,
was Vulture. I was looking at Vulture's 30
Yeah.
some greatest. Give them credit where credit's due. They had Tucker, and I don't know that that's a car movie to me, even though it's about a car. It's
Yeah, no.
it's about the man.
I think the car picture to me, because what's the movie with?
I also don't think Drive.
Because the car picture for, I mean, because if you count Tucker, the man in his dream, as a car picture, then you have to count the film with about the
I
windshield
have a drinking
wipers.
problem.
With Greg Kinnear.
Greg Kinnear.
I'm blanking on the title.
What's the Greg Kinnear movie about the windshield wipers?
I have no idea.
Where he was I don't remember it.
It's based on a
I've
true
never seen
story.
it.
The man that invented the windshield
It
wiper.
came out within the last 5 years.
I have
Yeah.
no idea.
But it's a fascinating movie. But and obviously it's all about cars and how important it is to be able to go anywhere in the rain and blah blah blah. And he invented it and didn't get the credit. But that's not a car picture to me. To me, I think car pictures have to be, especially if you're talking about car pictures in a certain time frame, they definitely have to be action films.
Action
Yeah.
film and fun.
Yeah.
There has to be.
But you know they're fun, but I think also, and some of the ones I assume you're going to talk about, they don't end the best way.
No, I will go over the two big ones I'm going to talk about. Both took place in the 70s, so I'm glad that we actually sounds like we're kind of spread out here,
Yeah.
which we never intended to do.
Yeah.
We never talked about that, so it's good because each decade of car pictures have their own kind of genre. Now, it's a genre unto itself, we could say car pictures are.
Right.
But they have their own flavor. For example, back to what you were saying, all of the car pictures now are about, they're lighthearted, they're heist, and about family,
Yeah.
right? That's
Yeah.
what all
Yeah.
the Fast and the
You have
Furious
the
films-
Italian Job, you have Ronin, you
Ronin.
have Fast and Furious, even the Transporter. You could
Yeah, the
argue is a car
Transporter,
movie.
they
Baby
Vultures. I like Baby.
Baby Driver is
Is that a car picture?
Yes, to me.
it
I think
is a
it
car
is.
picture.
I think it is,
Yes,
but I
it
just
is.
wanted to.
And
Yes.
I almost brought it up, but the three that I picked, I strongly feel about, and at least two of them are obscure.
That's good. All
And
right.
one of them, you all might argue with me, is not a car picture, so I'm kind of
Days of Thunder? Are you going to talk about Days of
I'm
Thunder?
glad you actually didn't pick one. Hell no, I'm not picking Days of Thunder.
Why not?
I don't like Days of Thunder.
Well, I don't either, but it's a car picture.
Yeah, but
is
no.
it or isn't it?
Is the Wraith the car picture?
Is Cars a car picture?
That's actually another question. Yeah, it's a car
Well,
franchise.
let's get into the list of the movies.
All right, who wants to go first?
Chad, you go.
All right.
All right, Chad.
So
Yeah, we can never
Yeah,
go first.
Chad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do we keep saying
You
yeah?
want a Pepperidge Farm?
this is the first movie I'm going to pick up. I'm going to mention. I actually texted you all about it. I never did tell you the title because I didn't want to spoil it.
Oh, you texted me
It is.
pictures of your
I think it's
scrotum.
It was from 1984. It was produced by Ivan Reitman, directed by Robert Mandel, who has not directed a lot other than School Ties. He directed the pilot of The X-Files. And written by a little-known screenwriter known as Joe Esterhaus.
I know who Joe. I know Joe.
If you don't know who Joe Esterhaus is, he wrote Basic Instinct, Sliver, Showgirls. Pretty much every movie he's ever written.
Burn Hollywood Burn. He also wrote that one.
It has mainly been really sex-driven, except for this movie,
I don't know.
Big Shots.
Kids?
With the two kids.
Ivan Reitman produced that?
Ivan Reitman produced it.
That's the car picture.
That is the car picture I'm starting out with. James, do you know Big Shots?
I can honestly say I do
barely remember it.
So,
I barely remember it.
Big Shots, what is it? What is the car in the movie? The car is a black Mercedes.
Okay.
It's about a young suburbanite whose father passes away and he can't handle the death, so he runs away from home. As he runs away from home, he ends up in the south side of Chicago, where he befriends a young con artist named Scam, who was
That's a little on the nose.
Keep in mind, this was written by Basic Instinct's Joe Esterhaus.
Now,
I actually like Basic Instinct.
Scam is Scam. Is he the father of Flim Flam from the 13 Ghosts of Scooby Doo?
But you know, it was actually
I bet he's a shady character.
the young man was his name is Darius McCrary. You would know him as the eldest son of Family Matters,
I know him as Hootie.
and he is
That's what I was going to say.
and he is also the voice of from another car movie. He is Jazz in the first Transformers movie.
Oh. Is that a car movie?
No,
James is drinking from the jug. Sure was
jug or
nice of
bunch?
our host to give you a whole jug of that.
If anybody needs any, it's here.
but anyway, so what they
don't
what they
drink
end
that
up doing
swill.
is
They sponsor us. You'll drink every
I
day.
will suck it like I was a circus seal.
they steal. So what they do is they end up stealing a black Mercedes.
Yes.
And then insanity ensues because what happens is that black Mercedes they stole has a dead body in the trunk.
and two kids?
And two kids.
A guy, a guy I went to high school with went to prison for that.
And
Stealing two kids or a dead body?
Dead body in the trunk.
But he's the one that put the dead body in the
He
trunk.
did. He did.
And he put the death into the dead body and he put him into the trunk, right?
That is actually, I mean, according to court records, I wasn't there.
But according to that, he did it and then parked at MSU. Keep going.
so anyway, so what happens is the mob's chasing him, and the whole subplot of this is this kid is trying to take Scam to find his long lost father, to sort of to deal with the fact that he lost his.
These kids sound like they need to talk to some therapists.
And it just goes from the
Sounds like they need Jesus.
and there's a lot of car, and you're like, why does this car picture? Well, for one thing, a lot of it is them on the road.
Man,
in
here
this black
call, but
Mercedes.
damn few are chosen.
There's some pretty cool car chases in it.
Okay, is the kids driving?
The kids are driving.
That's illegal.
They steal a police car, and it's one thing after another. Another reason I pulled this out, and I couldn't remember the line exactly because it's hard to find a copy of this movie now.
I can't
It is
imagine.
on. It's part of Warner Brothers
Archive. So
Archives.
basically print on demand, right?
Yeah,
Because
print
that's
on
how I'm
demand.
getting some of my Warner Brother films.
And I was almost tempted to buy it so I could watch it further, but I've went back and watched some clips on YouTube, and there was one particular line that sticks with me, and it's very deep, very Shakespearean.
Is it at the very end when they go, sit, boo boo, sit,
No,
boo
and
boo, ooh boo, I screwed
I
it
am
up.
not the master thespian that Joe Lewis is, so I am going to let him.
Ding!
So I'm going to let him say this quote for me. Don't read it, just read it out loud.
Don't mess with the dude. Oh shit, I
You already screwed it up.
Don't mess with me, dude. I could walk on water, eat bullets, and shit ice cream.
Now, if that
Now,
is
how did that not get an Oscar?
I don't know.
For
Can I
best
do this one
screenplay?
more time?
Go for it.
Yeah.
Don't mess with me, dude. I could walk on water, eat bullets, and shit ice cream. That is kind of a good line.
It is
I like
a good
it. I
line.
like it.
Joe
Why would you
Esther.
shit eat ice cream?
I don't know.
Why wouldn't you eat ice cream and shit bullets?
And that was the big question: was are you eating bullets and then your body is churning it
I'm
into ice
lactose
cream?
illiterate.
You sure are.
I shit bullets, and I can't read the sides of ice cream.
But this movie really stuck with me as a kid. I watched it repeatedly, and as soon as we said we were going to do car pictures, this was the first one that came to
Yeah,
my
nobody
head.
else was going to pick that.
And I was like, I'm going because it's so obscure, nobody remembers it. And I didn't even know it was until I started doing research that it was actually produced by Ivan Reitman.
What, is that really a car movie, though?
It takes place in a black Mercedes for the most part, and then there's car chases, and then they steal a police car and they're in a car chase. I view it as a car movie.
Did you guys ever see that Kevin Bacon movie that was directed by the guy that directed the new Spider-Man movie?
You
called
talking about Cop Car? Yes, I love Cop Car.
Was that a car movie?
I think you could
Because
consider.
that's two kids who steal a cop car.
I think it's considered a car movie. That
You
was
know,
one of the ones I almost brought up.
I was about to say, and I have Blues Brothers up there, and I agree with you that it's a musical.
That's a musical.
That's a
But I argue it's a car picture too, because
It
so
has-
much of the film doesn't move unless it's that car.
yeah, and it
And
has
the
one of the
chases,
biggest.
it has at one point it held the record for most car crashes.
Did Blues Brothers 2000 eclipse that?
Yeah, it did.
Okay.
What's funny is that they didn't, even though they made that movie, 16 years later, Blues Brothers 2000?
Yeah.
It still was they did not have the budget that they had on the original one.
No, and you could tell.
Yeah, you could tell. And nor did they have a screenwriter.
But no, that's the movie I wanted to talk about first. Was Big Shots,
Okay.
written by Joe. Can't stress this enough. Esterhaus.
I'm sure he's wrote other things as
No,
well.
if you look at the list of movies, they're all like, for the most part, sex movies, except for this one.
I like Basic Instinct. James and I argue about this all the
I
time.
don't understand the point of it.
It's cool.
It
Anyway,
feels like
It's a
bad
Hitchcock
TV movie
film.
to me.
I'm gonna say James.
I was going to start with some other ones. Actually, I was going to do Blues Brothers, but I think I've already made my point about that. I think I need to go old school. I think I need to do what I would argue is one of the earliest, which would be Thunder Road with Robert Mitchum.
Yeah. Now, is
Thunder Rolls.
and I thought about that, but my argument when I was thinking about it this afternoon, is that a car picture, or is that a moonshine picture, or are they the same?
I think at that point they're
that's
the
a
same.
good point, right?
the
I
thing
think
is,
at that
then
point,
we
because
could
if
talk-
you know anything about the origins of NASCAR,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And then we could talk about Gator, and what's the original? Gator's the sequel. the
yeah.
Burt Reynolds film. White Lightning. Then we could do White Lightning.
And then you could also talk about Moonrunners, which was
I keep just
What is
grabbing
Moonrunners?
Darth Vader's ass for some reason.
Moonrunners. It was a film that led to this upstart television network creating a TV show about two good old boys who were never
Racist.
They were never meaning no harm.
Joking. Kind of.
But
We're going to do another episode.
But
about
no, but that was Moonrunners.
Yeah.
But Robert Mitchum, Thunder Road, if you've never seen it, is about a guy that does fast-paced moonshine deliveries, which is kind of where NASCAR started.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Of all
I
that
mean, when
stuff.
you talk about moonshine, vehicles are ingrained in it because that is the mode of transportation, and they did it at night with no lights.
Yep. And so the film came out in 1958, and the entire point of the film is that lifestyle, even at that point, is dying away. Being a moonshine runner, liquor is getting legal everywhere. There's not a demand for it anymore.
Right.
And he's trying to hold on to it, and people are coming into the business, and it's changing. So, I mean, it's very much a drama in some ways, but I think it's still one of the precursors to the golden age of car pictures, because he is constantly running in the car, and what does that look like? So, as I was saying about movies, and I'll be honest, I didn't see Thunder Road until relatively recently. I think it was on Turner Classic Movies.
I've never seen it.
It's pretty
And,
good. I mean, if nothing else, you should watch it for Mitchum.
Yeah, and I was about to say, and people sometimes forget Mitchum, and
It's
Family
not a great
Guy.
film.
Family Guy always makes fun of Robert Mitchum. Was he heavy or was he bulky? I mean, what was it? But he is a compelling actor, and I mean, had some demons of his own. But definitely, I think that movie. If you're talking about car pictures, that needs to be, if you want to think of it this way, a prequel to what the modern car picture became, because it's all about high speed and I've got to get this, but then also the idea that this lifestyle is not sustainable.
No, I agree. That's a good point. And like I said, I thought about it. Are you done with that one?
Yeah, I mean, I won't spend too much time
If you're
on that
listening
one,
to us on iTunes or SoundCloud, by all means, please follow us. And yeah, anyway. So I'm looking my notes up on my little iPad here. Ipid. And there's a couple I want to bring up. Both of them are in the 70s, and they're both referenced in Death Proof. And Death Proof was a movie that's also a car picture.
Yeah.
Right? Directed by Quentin Tarantino. It was part of Grindhouse.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a slasher film car picture. Instead of a knife, he uses a car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
Yeah.
Basically?
Yeah,
Kurt Russell is a murderer. He's a killer, and he uses the car.
It's just when you say slasher films usually there's a high body count, and really Death Proof there's only one.
He kills the whole girls at
the first group of girls at the beginning. The leg goes flying off in the thing.
Yeah, he kills the whole carload.
I thought I haven't seen it in a while.
And then he kills Rose McGowan on the way to kill him.
Yeah, no, he killed Rose McGowan. I thought that was the only person he killed.
No, he kills the whole carload.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
Because he's in the hospital in Michael Park.
Mm-hmm. Michael Parks. He's dead now.
Oh, is he?
Could tell me. Yeah, he died last year.
Oh, that's right. Forgot.
I can't believe you don't remember that. Anyway, so what I like about what our problem was with Fast and Furious and other things was what I like about, and I'm sure James is going to bring up a really good one that was remade later, and that's great, is that some of these movies, when they're making them in the 60s and the 70s, one of the things I want to say is by the time actually Smokey and the Bandit came out, and I'm not going to talk about Smokey and the Bandit.
But that's a car picture, and if you've never seen
Smokey and the Bandit, and that's probably the car, or one of the car pictures.
If you've never seen Smokey and the Bandit, you need to see Smokey and the Bandit. It was second highest grossing behind Star Wars.
For 77, it's true. It was.
And it was, I would argue, it is
pure Americana.
It's culturally relevant for that time.
It is a beautiful little time capsule. But honestly, what you don't remember is that Convoy and several other movies had came, and actually car pictures were kind of not the thing by 77. It was much more of an early 70s. And two of the ones I want to bring up, the first one is Dirty Mary, Crazy Larry. It started Peter Fonda, and I already had my thing pulled up and I set it back down here. And Susan George, and I can't remember, it's directed by Peter Houf. He was British. And the year before that, he made one of my favorite movies of all time, Legend of Hell House. Same guy. And if you look, Roddy McDowall is actually in Dirty Mary, Crazy Larry. He's uncredited. He plays the manager of the superstore, the supermarket that they rob.
I was just like, Superstore. I'm like, I don't think Walmart existed back then.
No, but he plays the manager. So these people rob the store. He has an affair with this thing Peter Fonda does. He and his partner, but he has a thing with this lady, Susan George, the night before. They rob the store and they're on the run. That's the plot.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. Kenneth
Tobey is the guy chasing them down. If you're a big, huge film geek, Kenneth Tobey your name is Kenneth Tobey. Kenneth Tobey was the guy in what? The Thing. The original The Thing from Another World.
Oh, okay.
And he's in Gremlins. When they go to the gas station, he's the guy that manages it. That's coughing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So...
Knew him, didn't know the name.
He's chasing him down. He's also on Airplane, by the way. He's one of the assistants helping
oh, really?
Lloyd Bridges. I'm sorry, I can keep on going.
Yeah.
So that's what the movie's about. Now, what's the cool thing about 70s car pictures, James? How did they always end?
What I was going to say is they are very much like the classic horror films. And the classic horror films, due to code, the monster had to die. And that is very much true for 99%.
99% of those movies made from about 67, 68 right there till about 75, 76. And most of them were shown in the drive-ins throughout the South. If you were in the city, you had things called grindhouses, and that's been well explored. We're not going to go into it here. If you know anything about movies, there's an actual film named Grindhouse that came about of me explaining this to you. But in the South, they didn't have those. They had drive-ins, another part of car culture. You actually drove to the movies and sat in your car and made out with someone.
And you could do that because
if you're lucky enough to have someone to make out with.
And if not, you watch the movie.
And if you're listening right now, I'm putting my arms around Chad.
iTunes.
So love me, iTunes.
I mean, I wish you would. That way we would get some money.
Hey, I've been eating pineapple.
Well, that was 1971, right?
Let's find out if that's true. Actually, it came out in 73.
Because
Yeah, 73, 74. Hold on.
Because Two-Lane Blacktop was 71.
74.
Okay. Two-Lane Blacktop was 71.
Oh, and there's Macon County Line. There's a ton.
And there's, I don't know if the other one you're going to bring up, I assume.
Yeah.
I think it's 71 as well.
Yeah, I got to. That's
No, I was
the next,
about to say,
that's actually my favorite.
But Two-Lane
Because
Blacktop,
it's such an odd movie.
Two-Lane Blacktop, I haven't seen much of, but if you're a fan of War and Oath, you should check out Two-Lane Blacktop.
I want to see. I've never seen it actually, and I need to watch it. That's the one that's directed by. I can't think of his name. Monty Hellman.
Yeah.
Monty Hellman went on to do a bunch of other things. He did some stuff for George. Doesn't matter. Anyway,
He went on to make mayonnaise. Bring out the Hellmans.
Back to Dirty Mary Crazy Larry. The thing about these car pictures is that they always got away with it, and after they got away with it,
they died.
They died. And something hit them. Something came out of nowhere, and they killed them.
Yeah, Dirty Mary Crazy yeah.
Is no exception.
And it has one of the best because you're absolutely right. You're like, they did it. Woo! They did it. Son of a gun.
Bam! Takes them out. All three of them.
Yeah.
Right there.
How many movies did Peter Fonda make in that time frame where he died?
A bunch.
That's what I thought. Okay.
And we haven't even got to motorcycle pictures. That's a whole other episode.
I know. I think motorcycle is that's
a whole other genre. We'll get to the wild ones, which we'll also talk about Peter Fonda.
So Peter Fonda was the Sean Bean of the 70s.
No, Sean Bean was the Sean Bean of the 70s. Sean Bean was the Sean Bean of any decade.
That's true.
Post or before he was born or his death. He will always be the Sean Bean of the Sean Bean.
His multiple deaths.
That's the story. That's the plot. Yes, there's some crazy accidents, crazy stunts done with cars, and there's no CGI.
No.
And you're just watching it and you think, why weren't more people killed? And then you look up the stories and people were killed. I'll end there. That's all I want to say.
All right. So I'm going to bring up the one that I think you all are going to argue with me the most about. Is it a car picture? But I'm going to bring it up.
Gumball Rally?
No.
What?
Gumball Rally.
So I'm going to, as soon as I say this person's
Oh,
name,
is it going to be the Kenny Roger one with the kids, 6-pack?
No, that's 7-Up.
Six.
Is it 6-pack?
It's
It is
6-pack.
Oh, okay. I thought it was 7-Up.
Holy shit.
6-pack. How do you
Is
not
that
a
know
car
it's
picture?
6-pack?
Is 6-pack a car picture?
I mean, it's all about them preparing for a race.
I don't know if that is so stroke race.
But if that is this,
Holy cow! We're
Herbie
Herbie's
is
a love bug.
is a car picture.
Which
It is
one?
all of them.
Even the one where he's fully loaded.
Yes.
How about the
You shouldn't drink and drive.
How about the Bruce Campbell one?
I've never seen it. I've never seen the one. I've never seen the.
But no. So it was co-written by the man. I've lost his name, but he co-wrote he created Martin.
Really?
Yeah. And then
It really works when you say it that way. Say it that way.
the other co-writer, who was also the director, he was a little-known director known as Joel Schumacher. I'm bringing up 1983's DC Cab.
All right. Have you seen DC Cab in a while?
Yes, it still holds up.
No, it is terrible.
It is not terrible. You shut your horse mouth.
Didn't we have this conversation last year?
Yes.
I saw it a year or two ago. I hadn't saw it in a long time because we have a friend, Craig Dennis, who's a big supporter of the show. Insane. But he's a big supporter of the show. Thank you so much, Craig. He loves that movie, quotes it a lot.
Yeah.
I hadn't saw it in a long time. Saw it last year and thought, oh Lord.
No, it still holds up.
It is so not PC.
No, it is not PC.
And not in a funny Blazing Saddles way. No, it's the other not PC.
But you gotta think, Joel Schumacher also wrote another popular car movie. It's not a car picture. This is definitely not a car picture, but
it is.
Car Wash.
It's at the car wash.
So then you're gonna look
We're talking about the car wash.
Yeah.
Come on, baby, sing it with me. Car wash.
Dad, see, what you've got to understand is you might never get rich.
Carlin is in it.
Yes, I
But
know.
it's better than digging a ditch.
But let's say
It's a car wash.
But let's
Richard Pryor.
Let me get that banjo back.
But let's talk about the cast of
wash,
DC Cab. You got it right off the bat, Mr. T, and he pities no fools.
I pity them. Keep going.
But Paul Rodriguez, one of the best comedians, stand-up comedians of the 80s, early 90s. Don't forget about Bill Maher. I was getting ready to say Bill Maher.
Okay.
Adam Baldwin of Firefly.
Yeah. I don't know if he's still on his, but keep going.
And Gary Busey, who is wonderful in that movie, who plays Gary Busey.
Who plays Gary Busey, racist Gary Busey.
Yeah.
Who may very well be Gary Busey, I don't know.
And then it also starred the Barbarian twins, who had a brief career in the 80s.
It also stars Max from Larry, from one of my favorite TV shows of all time, Barney Miller.
You're also forgetting another favorite.
Max, what's Max's? Oh,
I'm forgetting his name. But also one of our favorite shows from the 80s, Night Court, Marshall Warfield.
Marshall Warfield's in it as well. Right.
But so if you haven't seen DC Cab, seriously, don't listen to Joe. Go out and watch it. It is fantastic. And I believe Jimmy Dynamite Walker's in it. Is it my memory?
There's a lot of people. There is no
it goes
point
on
to
and
DC
on.
Cab.
So it's about this Adam Baldwin. He comes, he hitches hikes to Washington.
Hitches hikes?
He hitchhikes to Washington, D.C.
I like hitches hikes better.
to
I
take
bet
it.
you do.
Hitches and hikes. Hitches and hikes.
At the car But he hitchhikes to Washington, D.C. to get a job with his uncle to fulfill the American dream of owning a cab company.
I really feel if I had a green screen, we could do a flag waving behind Chad.
But you know, it's all,
keep our. Oh wait, I did the Canadian national.
and Joe's right. There really isn't a plot to it. It's just random.
God.
It's random scenes put together of people in cabs. Each one has their own way of doing things. Like for one thing, Marshall Warfield, if I could talk. You know, she's constantly getting held up. She
hitches hikes too.
No, she constantly gets held up. Mr. T's trying to do what Mr. T did in the 80s and beat a drug dealer out of his neighborhood.
Because there's a powerful message after you get past racists.
Gary Busey. So Gary Busey's racist, and he's trying to prove that Bruce Lee is frozen in a fridge somewhere, if I'm not mistaken.
And he doesn't work. On what day?
What day is it?
Elvis's birthday, baby.
Yeah.
I don't work.
But yeah, it's just one hilarious scene after another. It's like I said, there's not really a plot.
Let's get drunk and watch it.
But I'm all for it.
Okay.
James didn't bring the booze.
Well,
Sorry.
But yeah,
maybe we could trade some of these Pepperidge Fives for booze.
But it definitely.
No, I'm not giving up the cookies.
Do you all not think it's a car picture though?
You know what? I'll be honest. Being blunt. I haven't seen DC Cab in its entirety. I'll be honest. I've seen Mr. T's self-help film, Be Somebody or Be Somebody's Fool. Look it up. You can find it on VHS tape.
I'm the fool.
Because the majority of it takes place in cab.
If that's true, is Mother Jugs and Speed a car picture?
It totally is. It's an
Okay.
ambulance picture. It's a car picture.
Okay. All right. If you say that one is, then I'll say
Oh,
that
now
one.
I've got a question then. So, if taking place in a car,
And by the way, the car is a car
point,
picture.
Is a pivotal point of being a car picture. Is cellular a car picture? She's locked in the trunk of a car that entire picture.
No.
I never saw it.
Because
I know
car-
what it is. I know who
the
wrote
You
car-
ever see the phone booth?
Yeah,
It's about the
same
same guy.
it. Yeah, Larry.
He put it in a. He put it in a.
And who directed Phone Booth? Joel Schumacher.
It's true.
I enjoy the heck out of phone booth.
I like Phone Booth too. No, the point of a car picture for
Who
me.
directed cellular?
Not
Somebody
Joel
else.
Schumacher.
But no,
They're both written by Larry.
in my, I think
What's
you
his
all
name?
view a car picture as there having to be car chases involved. My version of a car picture is the car has to encompass a major character in the film.
actually,
and
I'll-
DC Cab encompasses
I'll
a
actually
cab
agree
as
with
the major
that,
character.
and it's one of the things that I will agree with, and I'll agree with you on that because that's my same argument for Blues Brothers. Is there's been comments made that, and I'm leaving cars behind for a second, but is it Richard Arnold who worked on Star Trek and worked with Gene Roddenberry, and his argument is one of the reasons that so many people still like the original series is the Enterprise as a character.
Yeah.
And he argues that as good as The Next Generation got, as good as Deep Space Nine got, nobody captured that ship as a character as well as the original series.
Yeah, and for example,
And so I will agree with you there that if the car is, if you care about the car, I mean, Blues Brothers, that's one of the things that I love about it. When they get there and they've literally been through Nazis and everything, and they get there at the last minute and the car falls apart,
it's
you
part
kind of go, oh
yeah.
my God, and it's like, we gotta go.
Because the one I want to do, I think part of the car is
Well, and also with DC Cab, like and this is one of the reasons why, like I said, Joe, there's not really a story. Everything is a comedy, and then all of a sudden there's a big there's a big kidnapping.
There's a kidnapping for the third act.
There's no reason for this kidnapping, but there's a kidnapping. But
it doesn't even match the tone of the movie.
It just comes out of left field. Because you're watching this movie, and it's all about these people.
Do you think they were writing the script, and they were like, God, this is
Joe
60
Schumacher
minutes.
wrote it, right?
I know, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Joe Schumacher wrote it. It came from a story from the guy who created Martin, who really didn't do much of anything other than Martin, and then he did one other movie, and I'm blanking on the title.
He didn't have to. He dropped the mic when it came to Martin.
Yeah.
With Shanae.
Yeah, Shanae. But you know, for example, this.
What that woman's up to now? She was a handsome woman. I wish I knew where she was.
But no, I mean, with DC Cab, they
There's going to be a 20-year-old out there, no idea what you're talking about.
But the cars have to take. They play a major part of the plot because they have to break into the. They have to break back in. There's a whole courtesy of an '80s montage. They have to transform them into police cars.
And they call it a
montage.
Montage at the car wash.
Car wash. But no,
I agree.
That is my second choice for a car movie.
You know, I've actually changed my mind since we've started, and I'm going to do this one.
Is it your turn or my turn? I thought you already did two.
No, I do. I've done two. Now James is doing one. You technically did two in a row. You did Death Proof and then.
No, I just mentioned Death Proof to get to there.
But there was a conversation,
so
I was there for bringing you.
This is my second.
I'm not upset.
No. Well, it's fine.
You should be.
Why don't you just take your damn time and your Pepperidge Farm?
Because it remembers.
Hey, guys.
Banjo and show.
Darth Vader's getting upset.
So,
Hey,
I want to start this by leading into...
Shut up!
Now spit on me and call me scum.
Before I get into this, I want to set this up by saying that the man who directed this picture had been in, as an actor, car pictures before. He was in a little film called Eat My Dust.
Directed by little Ronnie Howard.
Yep, and he went on to do, he was in Rock and Roll High School and all of that stuff, which meant that he was working with this young upstart director, or a producer, Roger Corman.
Never heard of him.
This would be Paul Bartel.
Paul Bartel, I know what you're going to do.
And Paul Bartel gave me one of my favorite movies. And by the way, I saw this movie, and then about 2 years ago, I was at the gym on Netflix.
I know exactly what he's going to do. Class Struggles of blah 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 in Beverly Hills. By the way, it's a Paul Bartel movie. He's doing Lust in the Dust.
Eating Raoul. Yeah, Lust in the Eating Raoul.
Eating Raoul's another Paul Bartel movie that he's in
Paul
with
Bartel,
Mary Warrenoff, who turned us down doing the show.
Paul Bartel did these car pictures, and Corman asked him if he would like to direct a car picture, and he directed a little film with some social commentary called Death Race 2000
with a guy named Sly Stallone.
Are you serious? That's what you're
Paul Bartel was openly gay throughout his career. Did not hide any of it. Which made him direct, and go back and watch Death Race. It's very interesting that he directed.
I never thought of it from that perspective. You'll know Paul Bartel from Gremlins too. He's the theater manager that goes to get Hulk Hogan when the Gremlins stop the movie in the middle of it.
Okay.
By the way, we should do a whole episode of Gremlins 2 and how the hell that movie came out of the studio system. Max Landis does a whole trailer show.
Let me flip back, by the way. You need to actually go back and find the novelization of Gremlins 2, because it's hilarious. Because if you're reading the novelization, it stops at the same point, and it literally has a chapter narrated by, is it Brainy? Whatever the
Tony Randall.
Tony Randall one.
Yeah, and that said, if you would have bought a ticket to see this movie instead of just buying a book, you would have got to see a scene here where Hulk Hogan and just literally describes the scene, and then literally then goes on to talk talk how books are great, but movies deserve. And then there's a full chapter.
All right,
so no, hold on, because I got another important. Let's take a break from cars, because I got a more important question. When the hell did you read the novelization of Gremlins 2?
I didn't get to see the movie when it came out. Somebody gave me the book.
His mommy and his daddy didn't love it.
No, I didn't get to go see it.
I saw it twice.
I saw it twice.
It was the first movie I've ever saw in the theater. I ever saw in the movie theater twice.
I did not.
When that gremlin picked up that Uzi, my 10, 12-year-old brain melted.
And then when that one transformed into a woman, another thing happened that we don't want to talk about.
I didn't get to go see movies until I was
my 30-year-old brain melted. Turns out I need a love that dare not speak its name.
Okay, so
I didn't see a lot of movies as a kid in theater. So,
yeah, no, sorry.
But anyway, Paul Bartel.
I'm not.
It's okay.
You're okay. You made it.
Thanks, Joe.
You're welcome.
Means a lot to me.
I'm waiting for Darth to do this handy J.
Anyway, Paul Bartel directed, and if you've only seen the remake of Death Race, the original is very different.
Or the other remake.
The other, well, yeah.
I only made it through 45 minutes of that movie.
I watched them all. But I do love the original the best. And the plot to Death Race is, it is a race across the country, and every person that you kill scores you points.
Yep.
And it's a method of population control. So if you like The Purge and you want some 70s vibes on The Purge.
If you like The Purge, but you would like something entertaining.
It is...
Right?
Well, I mean...
Actually,
the funny part about it is the cars really never actually went that fast. They did a lot of different stuff with it. But I mean, the start of the movie, they actually talk about, well, if you kill an elderly person, since they can't contribute to society, you get this many points. If you kill a member of the clergy, you get this many points. So there's all this social commentary. David Carradine's in it.
I was going to say,
it's a David Carradine picture that has a very young Sylvester Stallone in it. He plays not the Italian Stallion, but it's dangerously close.
It's not. It's only that movie was made in the mid-70s. It's only a year or two before Rocky, right?
Yes, and it's all
this
about.
Before or after his porno?
It would be after.
It would be after.
It would be after.
Okay.
But it.
I was sitting here. I was waiting for a joke, but I think it'd be after.
Yeah, it was legit.
It would have been too long after. But yeah, it would have been. I think after.
And to those people who know, Sylvester Stallone was in a porno.
And so was Sonny Landham.
It's a weekend,
and I'm assuming I'm looking at the right camera as there's one pointed right at me.
It's a Weekend at Kitty and Studs, right? Which is.
I have no idea. I've never seen it. Oddly enough, I've not seen that.
I haven't seen it either.
Kevin Shelton, if you're watching or listening.
But now just imagine Adrian at a different point.
I have need a love that dare not speak.
But Death Race is all about basically. If you watch only the remake, they're not in prison. They're actually heroes. They're athletes.
Yeah, they're athletes, and people sacrifice them.
I just back again off card pictures. I just got a mental image of Joe motorboating a gremlin. Continue.
So did I.
Anyway,
I'm going to move my thunder lip pillow right over here.
The Death Race, the original Death Race 2000, is just an entertaining
and
it's a race, but it's a race for points,
and they're huge. And he plays the guy's named Frankenstein.
And the rumor is that he's horribly scarred, and they've created this kind of myth about him.
Yeah. And people sacrifice themselves across the United States. Yeah.
There are people that will line up just so their racer can win because it's that important to them. So it would be the equivalent of, I don't know, I want Scott Speed to win, so I'm going to jump out onto the NASCAR track when I see him coming by.
Scott Speed.
And you see that. Scott Speed only has 3 friends, and I know 2 of them.
I know 2 of them. And by the way, if you find the Boneheads out and about, or you are interested, I have a David Carradine story.
Yes. So many of the, but yeah, no. Death Race 2000 has a lot of social commentary on it. It is very much a car picture. The cars have their own characters.
Yeah.
The Frankenstein's car is not the same as the Italian Stallion's car. I forget what his name is.
I can't remember what his name is either, but you're right.
Close.
It's dangerously close to
there's a lot of social commentary, but the fact that it was directed by an openly gay director in the 1970s, it's a very interesting film. You need to check it out.
And check out his other pictures too. Class Struggle of Beverly Hills, Eating Raoul, Lust in the Dust. Seriously, they're B movies, but there's always another layer to them.
Yeah,
he died actually fairly young, and he and Corman were actually friends. And Corman has said that it's one of his saddest things is he would have loved to have seen the movies that he would have made.
Yeah.
So not to make it too serious.
Sylvester Stallone played Machine Gun Joe Viterbo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's nowhere near close to the Italian.
If you watch it though, it's kind of
They make comments about him being Italian all the time, Joe.
Okay.
So there's a lot of attack. So anyway, Death Race 2000. I wasn't going to bring up, but I think the more I thought about it, I'm like, it's a very much an original idea at the time, and it's very much a car picture.
All right. So to me, the best car picture, and like I said, I'm removing Smokey and the Bandit out of it because that to me is another thing. Is Vanishing Point. Vanishing Point has been remade once. technically twice because
3 times a lady.
and I'm not knocking Tarantino, but he even admits it as he's going through. If you're watching Death Proof,
Yeah.
how much of it comes out of Vanishing Point.
Right.
Vanishing Point is about Kowalski. He is a driver who drives things. They're but always. So here's the IMDb. I'm going to read it word for word. Kowalski works for a car delivery service. He takes delivery of a 1970 Dodge Challenger, a white one, right? From Colorado to San Francisco. Shortly after pickup, he takes a bet to get the car there in less than 15 hours. After a few run-ins with the motorcycle cops and highway patrol, they start a chase to bring him into custody. Along the way, Kowalski is guided by a super stole, a blind DJ with police radio scanner. That's the plot. Kowalski is played by Barry Newman. And the DJ that we love is played by Cleavon Little.
Cleavon Little.
Cleavon Little
Once
from
bitten,
Blazing Saddles.
Cleavon.
Once bitten, Cleavon's Little.
From
And that's it.
No, he was also in Fletch Lives.
No, he wasn't in Fletch Lives or Blazing Saddles. Once bitten it. That's it.
Anyway, so Vanishing Point, it has some great car chases, some great scenes. I don't know where my mind went.
I don't know what happened.
I totally
You're
blew
still
it.
thinking about that female gremlin perv. Good God.
Where's my pillow?
Oh, I got your pillow.
Those are my pillows. Don't tear those up. I told you those were 50 cents at the Big Lots.
It may smell like mesquite.
Ooh.
So,
It'll smell like despair, and you know it.
white 70s Dodge Challenger. What did the Duke boys drive?
Oh,
A Dodge Challenger.
it was a Challenger. Yeah.
Dodge Challenger. Everybody wanted a Mopar car at that time. They were built, big engines. Nobody cared about gas mileage. It was before the gas embargo, before the 70s came, well, right as before the mid 70s when people couldn't get gas.
Yeah.
And they started to make engines with less power in them. They couldn't care less about seat belts and safety. Ralph Nader hadn't ruined America. Is that obscure enough?
Yeah, that's obscure.
There's like
I
three
was
people
gonna-
out there going to
Yeah.
go, 3 liberals going, how dare he? How dare he?
Well, I mean, it did
Oh.
lower our insurance when we didn't have to worry
Well,
about
I mean, he
that.
saved thousands of
Yeah,
lives, but
well.
that's beside the damn
Yeah.
point.
He also gave
Some
us
people argue that actually the crash
He also
test
gave
dummies-
us George W. Bush.
Yeah.
Some people argue the crash test dummy program actually saved more lives than Ralph Nader.
No, it was
Now,
the
that being
cartoon.
said-
It was the cartoon.
That being said, the crash test dummies also gave us a song that just goes.
Can I get back to Vanishing Point?
Once there was this guy who. Yeah, go ahead.
Let's cut back. The novelization of Gremlins 2.
I'm sorry, Chad.
It's directed by Richard.
How many pages was that novel?
It's about 220.
Dang! Go ahead.
Do you think you could get the gestalt of Gremlins 2 in less than 220 pages?
Jeez.
It was directed by Richard Seraphin. Richard Seraphin, to my knowledge,
Was an angel.
worked on a lot of
Seraphin.
other things, but nothing that I think has had the cultural impact of Vanishing Point. And once again, not to give anything away, but guess what happens in a 70s car picture at the end?
They make it and everything's fine.
No, he dies. Kowalski dies.
Huh.
They all die. Now, why did they all die? Why did we have to punish them?
They're inherently bad people, aren't they?
Yeah, he kind of is, because you're pulling for them. You're pulling. Let's talk about smoking. You're pulling for the bandit.
Yeah.
But how much trouble, how much cost did he bring up for the taxpayer to get all that Coors back to Atlanta?
But Joe,
From
they're
Texarkana, Texas,
say,
back to
thirsty
Atlanta.
in Atlanta, and there's beer
In Texarkana, and they're going to do it no matter what it takes.
You know, it's also
They're
It could be
What?
eastbound and down.
you know, it's also the same thing about Bonnie and Clyde. It's kind of a car picture, and you're kind of rooting for them. And when they die at the end, a lot of people are like, oh, by the way, spoilers.
Bonnie and Clyde were murderers.
They were murderers. They are horrible people.
They were horrible,
You know,
horrible people.
I'm one of the few people who, when they shot, okay,
Bonnie and Clyde deserved what they got.
yeah, they have. But there are people out there. They are made to look like tragic figures.
That's a whole other one we could do too. That's a whole other episode of why we're obsessed with outlaws,
Yeah,
right?
Right.
Or why we are obsessed with the scum of the earth,
yeah,
basically.
yeah.
People who don't follow rules, they don't care. Do we all want to be rule breakers? Because I even make the joke in my own job. Well, you know, the rules are kind of a guideline.
No, I got too much guilt.
No, I don't have that.
Yeah.
James,
Anyway.
you can keep on going on the phone there.
No,
sexting
no,
with whoever you like.
I was actually looking at something relevant to what you were saying, but I can't find it. So
Seriously, I could tell you more about Vanishing Point, but there's no point because it is just it is so much of its time, and to me, it's probably I never saw it till I saw Death Proof, and that was the reason I brought it up.
Yeah.
Was because Death, and I was like, well, I've got to go back and see it, and I tracked down a lot of these movies. I think we watched them together.
Oh, I know. I watched because actually, it's got. Jumping back to Dirty Mary Crazy Larry, has one of the best threats ever delivered from a man to a woman, and I cannot say it on this show.
Why not?
Because of
And the
the content of said. Basically, he threatens to braid her hair.
Thank you. Oh yeah, I like my
Seriously?
hair braided.
That's a line in a movie?
No, it's not.
I know what you're saying. I'm just kind of shocked that was a line in a movie. I got what you're saying, 100%.
Yeah.
Talking about her leg hair. I got it.
I don't
yeah,
get
that's
it.
it, Chad.
Jeez.
I like my hair braided.
Yeah.
What
Anyway,
hair?
You do too.
So,
I'm done.
okay. My last movie, I actually, if you didn't notice, I rushed you us into talking about this in the middle of a James tirade earlier, because he mentioned the movie I'm going to bring up, The Wraith. I was like, oh no!
Charlie Sheen.
With Charlie Sheen.
wait, now you're going to bring up the Wraith,
Yes.
and not the car.
The car in The Wraith?
No, the car.
No, the movie
The Car.
The
Yeah,
car, where there's
About
a
the
demon
demon
car
car.
that is one of Del Toro's favorite movies. He has a replica of the car, and the car pins them in a cemetery because it can't cross over onto hallowed ground. Have you not seen the car?
No, I haven't. And The Wraith is one of my favorite movies as a
You
kid.
need to see the car.
I will see The Car. But The Wraith, it's a car movie.
Clint Howard's The Wraith.
Clint Howard's
Croward. Clint Croward.
Right. But it also
Howard.
stars Charlie Sheen,
Clint Howard.
John Cassavetes.
John Cassavetes is in
He's
that?
the villain.
I don't remember.
He is the main
I haven't
villain.
seen that since I was a
Randy
kid.
Quaid.
Randy Quaid. Oh, he's the sheriff.
He's the sheriff.
Oh, she's the sheriff.
And then
She was too.
he was.
Sherilyn Flynn from Twin Peaks.
Cheryl Flynn.
Cheryl Flynn, sorry, from Twin Peaks.
Is that the blonde one?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, from Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
No, she's the hotel owner's daughter.
Bear Country.
Oh, the brunette.
Yes. From Boxing Helena.
Ooh, directed by Jennifer Lynch.
By the way, Boxing Helena. Ugh. That's all we'll say about. Back to car picture.
I got that female gremlin going on.
Do you all not think The Wraith is an inherent car movie?
I haven't. Honestly, I remember it slightly better than Tough Guys.
So, oh my god.
Or whatever
Tough
it's called.
Guys.
It was
Kids.
called Tough Guys with Kirk Douglas and Robert Mitchum.
Yeah.
Oh,
Not
no,
Robert
Kirk
Mitchum,
Douglas
From Here to Eternity.
Clint,
Burt Lancaster.
Burt Lancaster.
You're talking about.
I almost
Burt
said
Lancaster.
Cliff Robertson.
Yeah.
At the end, they cross the border and they kick the guy in the groin.
Yeah.
What was we talking about with the kids?
Big shots.
What's the hell's the difference?
But
Either way, they have to get in a boat race to save the ski school.
That's one crazy summer.
Oh, Savage Steve Holland.
Yeah.
Feel free to come on the show.
God, yeah, I want to talk about Guyver.
You direct dive.
He could direct a Guyver. No, no, sorry. Got two people. That's
You're
Screaming-
talking about that's Screaming Mad George.
Anyway, The Wraith. So what is The Wraith for those people who have never heard of The Wraith? It is about a man, a teenager who is killed by a group of by a gang.
Yeah, it's a car picture.
Yeah, by a gang who all ride in various vehicles, who comes back as a vengeful spirit in a car and proceeds to mow them down one by one.
does he kill one of them
With
in the
a lawnmower.
garage? Am
He
I
kills
remembering
one of
that
them in the
correctly?
garage. I believe that is Clint Howard he kills in the garage.
Yeah. He drives the car on him,
Not
right?
Clint Croward.
Clint Howard.
I don't know how to make that more clear.
Not Clint Croward
So,
at the car wash.
but this movie, it also has a lot of. It was actually featured on Monster Vision, Joe Bob Briggs show, and
Who will be at Scarefest this year?
who will be at Scarefest this year. Oh, I lost my point.
Did you have one?
Yeah, I had a point. So
Why
also,
do you pick that one?
well, it was one of the movies that it was a car movie that I watched repeatedly as a kid, and the car itself is such an important piece of that movie.
Yeah, it's different.
Yeah, and
What was the car? Do you know?
I'm going to read that.
Okay.
It is.
Can you do it in
That
your?
was a 1986 cherry red Yugo.
I'm gonna have
Can you do it in your Crick Croward voice?
I'm quoting IMDb on this because I looked up several things on this.
And none of them were true.
No, they were all true. It's just this was the best way of describing what this car, about the history of this car.
Okay.
The car is a Dodge. It
Yes.
is the M4S, the Dodge M4S. It was a joint effort of the Dodge division of Chrysler Motors and PPG Industries. One of the highly sophisticated PPG pace cars for the PPG kart IndyCar World Series.
I'm not being sarcastic. I thought PPG made paint.
This was the early 80s. Or late 80s. I think this was 1987.
This is just random knowledge in my head. Keep going.
The M4S was designed and constructed at an estimated cost of $1.1 million and featured performance and technology to match that lofty figure. The innovative body design was developed in the Chrysler studios while PPG developed the finish, a special bronze pearl paint job formulated just for this car. The M4S was powered by a Chrysler 2.4 liter.
After the Gremlins done.
Yeah, the M4.
And Sherilyn Fenn. Only I want her unboxing Helena.
Oh, that's so gross.
Come over here with your no arms and legs.
Oh. The M4S was powered by a Chrysler 2.
Punch her like one of those boxing things I got as a kid.
I thought she had her hands. Did she? I thought she just lost her legs.
Either way, she's going to bounce back and forth
Now,
like one of those boxing
let's just say
things.
hypothetically, boxing Helena met waltzing Matilda. What would happen?
Back to boxing.
So anyway, so that was a brief description of the car. And the other thing that the Wraith is famous for is one of the it was the assistant director or cameraman actually died in one of the chase scenes of that movie.
Really?
Yeah, he either fell off the car. He fell off the car that was filming, or I think that's what it was. Anyway, it's just a really good schlocky car movie to me.
It's schlocky. I thought it was schlocky as a kid.
And that's why I think I liked it so much, because each one of the members of this gang was very cartoonish. Anything with Clint Howard's going to be cartoonish.
It's kind of a ripoff of Christine in a sense, in a way.
In a way.
Well, when you're done, I'll jump to something else.
No, I'm done. It was just because I felt like why did you bring up the Wraith as not being? Because I felt like you were saying that it wasn't a car movie.
Well, no, I was
you
asking
seen it,
if
James?
it was. Yeah, it's been a while. I saw it on Fox
I
late
saw it
night
on
movies way back in the
TV,
day.
yeah,
and I'm sure it was as the day was long. The reason though I wanted to I was asking if you were done is there's
He
some
was
other
ready to talk.
No, there's some other, because I was sitting here thinking about car pictures, and I've got the original Italian Job, whatever camera. The original Italian Job with Michael Caine, No Coward, Benny Hill.
Okay,
At the car wash!
is Benny Hill in the car wash?
No. With Benny Hill! You know how much better the car wash would have been with Benny
Actually,
Hill? About... To quote another person, about that much.
I like the
Benny
car
Hill,
wash.
but the original Italian Job, if you've only seen the remake, again, it's like some of the other stuff I'm going to talk about. But
Hold on.
before I talk about the final film, I'm going to talk about...
Oh, I missed.
Was that at my camera?
Before...
Or at the Haley? Are you okay, the Haley?
Before the... Before
That's what I was expecting when the gremlin left.
Before Chad quits...
I kicked off James Bond again.
Well, I was going to say, before Chad quits, or before
Would
Chad
you
gets
just
killed,
say it?
I'm trying to, but there's... The idiot
You're not
level,
talking now.
The idiot level
You're
keeps
just
going up.
talking. Say the movie. Say it.
No, I'm going to get
Don't
to
wait
my
for the
movie.
translation.
I'm going to get to the movie. But there's some other things on the table.
She says we're running long.
Okay, Joe, let me finish. James Bond, I got some James Bond stuff on the table because James Bond pictures do revolve around the car.
Yeah, you keep,
Never heard of that.
The car is vital to the James Bond pictures. People have paid money just to get their car in the picture.
Absolutely,
But it's
James.
the
Oh,
Aston
James,
Martin.
you always drive an Aston Martin.
God, I would love to drive an Aston Martin.
Joe would love to ride Ashton Kutcher.
So James Bond, I think this car.
I don't really have a comeback to that.
Back to
And
the
I've kind of petered out after the female gremlin.
Back to the Future, I think, is a
Boxing
car
Elena.
picture because I think the DeLorean is a character.
Yes, the
yeah.
DeLorean is very much as a character.
So I think that's a car picture. But what I want to talk about
while he's doing that, I'm gonna have a cookie for you all. Not watching. Just
What I want
listening.
to talk about is I'll actually pick it up off the table. This is my copy of the original Gone in 60 Seconds. You'll notice
I knew he was going to bring that up.
we've talked about
That's what he should have brought up.
We've talked about the original Italian Job. I mentioned it in passing. The original Death Race.
Haley, you want a cookie while James is talking? Audience, would you like a cookie while James is talking?
Joe, when you when you're actually stopped at a convention and they make you bring them cookies, I don't want to hear it.
Well, they'll be petered out. I just want to keep saying petered out. I'm still waiting for the female gremlin.
There's poor some guy named Peter out, and he's like, "Why the hell did Joe keep making fun of me?"
What did I do? The original, if you want to see the remake of the Gone in 60 Seconds, which I do love, it's a Nick
I do
Cage
not. Please
But-
watch the original. The
but
original
this
is a superior film.
This has over 500 crashes in it. And as Joe talked about, people got hurt.
Yeah.
If you watch this movie, there's parts that the audio's hard to hear. You're not watching for the plot. The plot is paper thin. He plays an insurance company.
Who's he?
It's H.B. Halicki.
H.B. Halicki, who also
He died.
direct it?
Yeah, he directed. He wrote, directed, basically.
And he starred in it.
Yes.
I
And
just
it's
wanted people to know that.
yeah.
Sorry.
He plays Mandarin Pace. Yeah,
I put that on some chicken once. Baked it at $3.50.
I think it's actually pronounced Mandarin or something. It's a little bit off from that. But basically, he runs an insurance company, and they're defrauding, they're stealing cars and doing all this stuff, and he basically makes a bet. It's the only thing close to the remake, that he can steal 48 cars in under 24 hours. So Eleanor, all of that stuff is the same. And that's the rest of the movie. And they do whatever it takes. So there are over 500 car crashes in the movie. It is all over the place. This version of it actually comes with a license plate tag that's meant to represent Eleanor. But H.B. Halicki did another movie that was titled Grand Theft Auto, and then he was working on a follow-up to this. And this movie originally cost... because he borrowed cars, he redid stuff on cars, he kept making them work until he could get the movie made. And I think it cost a little bit under $800,000 because he literally was just reworking everything himself to make it work. It, at drive-ins, made over $30 million, which at the time was huge.
Yeah.
He reinvested all of that. He kept making Grand Theft Auto. It's been retitled since. But then he made... he's working on Gone in 60 Seconds 2. And he was going to have even more car crashes and do all this stuff. And H.B. Halicki, who wrote, directed, cast, did everything for this, died. He was doing a jump stunt. And Waylon Jennings' narration failed. And he died. There's a couple
Slow clap.
Yeah.
There's a couple.
Speaking of the clap, did you know that female gremlin gets around?
Oh, my Lanta.
But anyway,
Does my
no.
Lanta help this burning sensation?
Yes.
It is-
Go take a bath.
It is very, very much true that H.B. Halicki...
You said him boxing.
is probably one of the most famous. And we talked about, you mentioned Smoking the Bandit in
Yeah.
passing. Hal Needham, who directed that, was originally also a stuntman.
Yes, Hal Needham was the stuntman.
Stuntman. So when H.B. Halicki and Hal Needham
He's
were kind
famous
of in
for
the
being a
same
stuntman.
ballpark, and H.B. Halicki didn't make it. He died doing stunts. So when you think about this, and that's why, again, I'm not as anti Fast and Furious as Joe is, I think. But that being said,
It's not anti. It's just it.
it's special
That movie is a drive-in masterpiece, in the sense of, for the period of the time it came out, for what it was representing for that part of
Yeah.
Americana, and the sequel is a bad Nicolas Cage movie with Angelina Jolie.
No, the remake.
The
not
remake,
the sequel.
I mean, I'm sorry.
Because
This is
they
brilliant.
still finished Gone in 60 Seconds too. And it's not as easy to find. But this wasn't easy to find until the remake
Till
came
the
out.
remake came out.
Now,
If
question
yeah.
about that, because the very final car chase, because there's a huge wreck at the very end of it.
Mm-hmm.
He got seriously injured at that one, didn't he?
Yes. And this is one movie that doesn't follow the 1970s car movie
Yeah, they
rule,
get away with it, right?
because he gets away with Eleanor.
Yeah.
But no, you're absolutely right. They cause a massive, massive accident. And yes, he had been hurt several different times. Any rational human being would have quit.
Yeah.
And he was obsessed with, he loved cars. And he loved doing these pictures. And he really thought that every time he kept raising the bar. I think I don't know if it's a stunt that killed him.
Darth Vader just attacked me.
I don't know if it's a stunt that killed
him.
him. It may be the stunt that killed him. But one of the things that he was trying to do for the Gone in 60 Seconds 2 was he literally wanted to jump a car and have a wrecking ball either hit it or hit it at the end where it would spin through the air.
That's amazing. We should do that.
Wow.
And you think about that again, no effects. He set up a ramp, he jumped a car, and he let somebody swing, and it wasn't a stunt driver. Well, he was a stunt driver. So H.B. Halicki is insane.
Yeah.
But also very creative. And so if you talk about the car picture, yeah, he's dead. Arguably, you could say he died for his art. And I was watching somebody talk about we've got to stop linking genius and insanity. But arguably, he was both. So if you've only seen the Nick Cage film, and I do enjoy the Nick Cage film, but it's popcorn entertainment.
I enjoy it.
This is...
That's because he likes to Nick Cage.
Listen, female gremlin lover, you don't get to comment. But anyway...
If it wasn't for the burning sensation while I urinate.
If you've never seen the original Gone in 60 Seconds, paper-thin plot about them defrauding insurance companies and making money, and they run an insurance company, and they're saying cars were totaled, and they're just reselling them, all that stuff. But the stunts in it, the fact that they're real. And sometimes, yes, you'll see a crash dance or whatever. Well, they just rammed two cars together. That's not epic. It's because you're used to CGI. But when you realize two people got in a car and for this movie intentionally went, yeah, we'll go 50 miles till we hit each other, it reframes that movie. So you have to view it as of its time. But yes, 500 car crashes in one movie.
Right.
All right, I know we're running low.
Running low. I'm running low. God, you bored the hell
Running
out
on
of me.
empty.
Why don't you have that cookie and shut the hell up?
How are those cookies?
They're not bad. They're a little crispy. You should try one.
Oh, so you're saying these Pepperidge Farm cookies are delicious?
I'm saying they're delicious if they give us money. So
More cookies.
or more cookies. I'd be cool with that. So our last, I'm last, right? I'm going to go last. I fought really hard about this, but
Like every track race you ever did.
I don't actually.
I couldn't
Did you
finish
say
it.
track race?
Every track race you ever competed in. You're last.
Oh, I thought you were talking about fighting really hard.
Fighting hard!
That
Oh my
didn't
God!
make any
Are you
sense.
going to talk about the ultimate car picture?
What?
Rocky 4, when Rocky has to outrun the car,
Oh my God.
driven by the Russians.
I'm telling you, that was on the other day, and we're going to get off topic, so we'll argue about it after the show.
The
is over.
Russians
There's no
chase
argument.
him in a car,
It's
Chad.
not
It's a
good.
car picture.
It's
It is
not a
not
good
good.
movie.
It's an 86-minute montage.
It
That's
is.
all
There
it
is no plot.
It is a class. It is the ultimate 80s film.
It may be the ultimate 80s movie, but what I'm going to talk about...
Because if I could change,
then
and
you
he
could
could change, we all could change.
We all know the ultimate 80s film is Garbage Pail Kids.
So moving right along,
Go to hell, Chad.
since we've done one from every decade, I went back and forth on two, and I feel that this movie is a lot like the Blues Brothers in the sense of that it's also a musical, and I'm going to talk about Baby Driver.
Okay.
Because Baby Driver was one of my favorite movies last year.
It was, yep.
I enjoyed it so much, even though I thought when I heard the plot, and then he cast that kid from whatever, and Shoal, blah, 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 egg crate, whatever his name is.
Egg Crate Sholoff.
Is that what it is?
I don't know.
Angel Egg Crate or whatever it is. I don't know. Somebody out there is getting pissed right now. He's one of them scorch, burn, Teen Titan, young adult movies.
I'm looking at Haley.
Right?
I don't know.
He is. He's in
Beast
something.
Boy from Teen Titans.
No. Anyway, it's directed by Edgar Wright. When Edgar Wright announced it and I heard the plot, I thought, well, that sounds really contrived. And that sounds like it's been done before. And then I saw the movie, and with the combination of the direction, from the combination of the good acting and the music, it is still at the end of the day a car picture, but it's so much superior than that. That to me it is a lot like the Blues Brothers in the sense of it's also a musical.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
That is a musical.
It is a musical.
The music plays an integral
The
part.
music
of the
is a
show.
character
And character in the movie all to itself. So, Baby, if you have not seen it, check out Baby Driver. It's directed by Edgar Wright. Edgar Wright gave us Shaun of the Dead. I forgot.
Hot Fuzz.
Hot Fuzz. At World's End. The Coronetta trilogy, as they call them.
Ant-Man.
No, he didn't.
He did the original screenplay.
Don't bring it up to him, though. He's not a big fan.
He didn't. He was not a fan of how it turned out.
He didn't watch it. He refuses to watch
Yeah,
it.
he
He did watch the Captain America movie because he said, I like Paul Rudd in that. But he hasn't watched it. He said it hurts too much.
Yeah,
Yeah, he did walk away, and then he did do Baby Driver. That's true.
I would have loved to seen Edgar Wright do a Marvel film.
I know, but I really
One
liked
thing I
it
wanna
when
add up-
Ant-Man came out.
I know.
One thing I want to bring up, though, because you said that was modern.
Oh,
Scott-
Scott Pilgrim. Thank you. I know.
I don't like Scott Pilgrim.
I
I
love
hate everybody in that movie.
I love Scott Pilgrim. So.
One thing I
Everybody
want
in Scott Pilgrim, I just flipped them off.
to...
I don't want to hang out with any of those people. Are you going to make a point? Because I'm
You're
talking.
not supposed to want to hang out with any of them. The driver. Ryan
Baby.
Gosling.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
one.
that's Drive, not
That's
Driver.
The driver is a 1970s one. Sorry.
Yeah,
I
no,
thought Driver
I'm
was-
not. I'm not done with Baby Driver.
I thought-
No,
Driver
but I
was-
wanted to ask you about that because you said as far as modern period, you.
I
took
don't
Baby
care. I
Driver.
think Drive to me is a mismatch of a '70s car picture and a William Friedkin To Live and Die in L.A.
I just wondered about that because
Go back and look at it. And here, and on top of that, I've thought that forever. And then if you look up the director's name, I can't think of him. He is European, whatever. I can't remember. What the hell is he?
I'm forgetting his name, but he directed an amazing meal. Bronson.
Bronson's a superior
That's
film.
his
to Drive.
best film.
That is his best film. It's better than it doesn't matter. Anyway,
Banjo?
no, we're getting off topic.
No, I just
Back
wanted to
to
bring
Baby
that up
Driver.
because
Yeah.
you were talking about modern, and I know a lot
It's
of
not
people.
a bad movie, but I don't think it's as good as what people say.
Because I know a lot of people are like this, and
Yeah.
I've always been. Okay.
I
just wanted to hear your
enjoy
feedback
it, but
on
no, no. So Baby Driver is about Baby. Baby is he has some hearing damage from an accident, right?
Yep.
And he has a roar, so he always listens to music. He makes mixtapes and whatever. And he is the driver for when they rob places. And he is in debt to Kevin Spacey's character, and he is working off his debt.
But
And that's the plot. And he meets a lady and falls in love, which is once again one of those contrived, cliche plots. But for some odd reason, it works because he's surrounded by great actors.
Yeah.
well, I think the other part about that though is what makes his character more compelling and more interesting is, and not giving too much away, I think, of the movie is the way he lost his hearing.
Right.
It all goes back to cars. It all
always
goes back. That's
to
what
cars.
he is.
So if you didn't see Baby Driver, go out and check it out. The only weak spot of Baby Driver, and even though I think John Hamm is a great actor, and actually, if you listen to the making of the commentary, that's the only person he actually wrote the part for, was
Oh,
John
really?
Hamm. Yeah. He met John Hamm and he wrote that part for him. I still have a hard time seeing John Hamm as the villain.
Oh, really?
I don't know what it is. Even though I love Mad Men, and obviously I've seen him do horrible things, I think I don't know.
Why? This. I mean,
But I love the movie, and John Hamm's good in it. It's something in me. It's not something for John Hamm.
One of the things that I don't want to give much away about it, but I think one of the things that's interesting about it is they're all villains,
Including Baby.
including Baby.
Including Baby.
But they're a little more three-dimensional than some car picture villains.
Absolutely.
Like, for example, with John Hamm, I kind of sympathized with John Hamm in that movie because I felt like he wasn't the villain. He turned into the villain because of what Baby did.
yes. I agree.
He was like one of
He
the.
did not have anything against.
He did not. He actually.
he actually
Jamie
cared.
Foxx is the really evil one.
Yeah, no,
he's not
evil.
antagonistic toward Baby in
At
the
all.
beginning.
In anything, he
It is
protects
Jamie Foxx.
In any way, he protects Baby in a lot of ways. John
Yeah.
Hamm does, and then at the end,
And so does Kevin Spacey.
and so does Kevin Spacey. And in the end, Baby basically screws over everybody to get what he wants, and as a result, one person dies, and another person is driven to
To kill Baby
To
because
kill Baby
he
and a bunch
took
of other
away
people.
one of the things he loves.
the only thing he
The only thing he loves. Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. And does Baby actually get what he wants? And then we could talk about the ending of the movie. Is that actually what's happening?
Yeah.
Or is that in Baby's head?
Yeah.
Because you could read it two different
Yeah,
ways.
you could. But yeah, I mean, that was one thing. That was the one thing that I kind of liked about the Baby Driver was that I sympathized with the villain because I felt like he wasn't a real villain. He was driven to that.
Well, he was a real villain in the case of that he was still an armed robber.
They were all still bad.
They were all still bad people.
except for the waitress.
Yes. She's actually maybe the only one, and then she just has shitty taste in men.
Yes.
Okay. Just like I do. And we need to wrap it up. So, that has been our car picture episode. We're going to do another one on TV, correct?
Sure.
I actually had a really good time with this. We might want to do another one of these later on.
Well, I was about to say,
Or
and
maybe it's because we haven't done a show in 2 weeks.
we
Yeah,
did bring it up.
We
I
haven't
think
really hung out in 2 weeks.
we did bring it up. I agree. We need to do it. I think we need to do a motorcycle.
We
film.
need to do a motorcycle one too. So tune in. If you have not, please share us on your social medias. Subscribe on iTunes, SoundCloud, and YouTube. We need the subscribers, folks. We made a promise to some people that we would do Harry Potter episode if they got us up to an X number. In fact, we've went down one since then.
Yeah.
So just want to throw that out, Santiago.
So if you want to see me argue with Joe about Dobby and Dobby's representation of
and how Dobby should die and burn in hell.
about
And me-
Dobby, how Dobby represents a repressed class, and what does that actually mean in wizardry?
Who cares about Dobby?
And me over here yelling, I just don't get it.
I don't get it either. So if you want to do that, get our subscription up, and we will do that.
As soon as we go over 100 and it's sustained for a month.
On YouTube.
Because there's been a lot of people that have subscribed to get the number up, and then when we give them what they want, they drop.
Yeah, it's happened more than
And
once.
people, it's free. Like
It costs you nothing.
and we don't spam you. We promise. We don't have time for that noise.
I have a full-time job. He has a full-time job. Chad's working that corner. Anyway, so subscribe to us on iTunes,
the way,
YouTube, SoundCloud.
I hate to do this while we're on the air. Where's my bunny?
Oh, God.
I want my cut.
Usually Haley's job is to get her money from Chad. Haley, if nothing else, pimping ain't easy. That's been Bonehead. We're out of here.
Oh, man, that was my
Does
intro.
anybody? That's been Bonehead. We're out of here. Does anybody know where I'm at? By the way, I usually just go to bed after this. These stairs do not lead to my bed.
Well, they might.
Oh, is the Gremlin up there? Is Boxing Helena up there? Good.
Waltzing Matilda. I always hear boxing Helena and jump to waltzing Matilda.
I think I'm going to take off my pants and hang out.
Hold on, here's my best Ashton Kutcher impression. Hey, Joe, it's Ashton Kutcher. Num, 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 num.